Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is our last episode of this year. It has been such an incredible year, dropping a new episode each and every week. And so let me introduce this special episode that you're about to dive into. We had a live recording podcast in front of folks, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I think we're going to try to do more next year. So you are going to hear from a midwife, you're going to hear from a doula, you're going to hear from a dad, for a mom. It was such a beautiful conversation talking about, positive birth experiences and focusing really on how it takes a village, and hearing, ways of how other families have done this, right? How they have found support and found help in their birthing season. And so you're going to hear tips and things that you can walk away with for your own journey. I am truly just so grateful for this space to be able to bring this incredible birth stories here each and every week. So a huge thank you to you for listening, for taking the time. A huge thank you to the team who has really helped to make this possible. I hope you get some time to rest this season. I hope you get some time with loved ones, but definitely Happy New Year, and I will see you next year. Thank you. Yes, I am really excited. I never thought about doing this live. Normally, we have done the whole first season pre-recorded so we can edit it. So this is new. Positive Birth Corner is a dream really come true. It comes from my own personal story. I had a really good birth, an amazing birth at a hospital setting as a Black woman, as an immigrant, and I knew that was significant. As a doula, as someone who was in this maternal world, I'm very much aware of the statistics around Black women and birthing, around women birthing, period, right? And it was just so important that, there was a space where we're hearing more about that. That, when we talk about this positive births, it's connected to really the advocacy, the resilience, right? Of that, there is people who are having good births, and there is a way that we can do that. And I started my doula work. I've been doing this work for a while, and it's really cool that I'm not the only person who's had a good birth, right? There's so many others, and we're just what does it look like to create a space for that, right? Now more than ever, when you hear about births, when you hear about the maternal mortality rates, right? They're pretty discouraging. And we have people who are not wanting to birth anymore. We have even high schoolers who are yeah, I'm not trying to do that. Because really there's just so much so much now that we know that is so negative. And it was just so important that we create this space of what does it look like to create positivity in birth, right? What does it look like to celebrate that aspect? And I really do see that aspect as an aspect of joy, as an aspect of resilience. And the beauty of birthing, right, is that it's not just about birthing, but it's that whole journey and after. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how it takes a village, because we know that it actually takes other people, yes, in birthing, but also in parenting, and actually in just life, right? It takes other people. This word with it takes a village, that resonates with me only because of where I come from. I know what a village actually looks like. I was born and raised in Malawi. So when you say the village, I can tell you where, how you get there, who lives there, what is it that we do. And, when we use it here now, in our modern world, it's okay, what does this word actually mean? And what does it look like now for us to actually build kind of this modern villages? Where are those gaps? And so we're going to, be having this conversation together. We do have a few folks who are going to come up and share more. And so we're going to start with Titi, our midwife. Come on up. So Titi and I were together last night. Look at us awake.
Another day.
We were in media.
Yeah.
It was
other birth professionals.
With other birth professionals. I'm what are we doing in the dark and in the rain? That's really what that was for me. But it was great. It was great. It was great.
It was good to see that space too. Yes. That was really impressive, actually. Yeah.
Yes. I feel like there's like things that are happening, right? Like, so Ashley, I feel like her name is actually a village doula, has created a whole space where people can come and they can do different classes. This births, you can do births there with a midwife. So Titi came to check it out. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
All right, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Titi Lola, and I am the only midwife at DA Professional Midwifery. My office is based in Bala Kinwood. I've been running this practice since 2019 now. I'm originally from New York, so I'm not from Philadelphia. What else can I say about myself?
You're amazing. I got the chance to I was like waiting to do a birth with Titi, right? Like, and so it finally happened because everybody who would come in was like, I want to do a home birth. I'm like, Titi, did you call her? Do you need her number? Here is her Instagram. So finally one family took me on it. It was a very selfish like reason because I wanted to do a birth with you. So we did a birth together and it was really cool.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about like the village, right? It has to be clear that it starts from like, the beginning, right? When people are trying to start a family. So I have a few questions kind of like for you. Yes. Like in your practice, what gaps in support do you see that are happening, like, like before birth or like pregnancy, even like postpartum?
Some of the gaps that I see in my practice, I mean, the biggest one is financial, right? Like a lot of, unfortunately, birth work is profit ran. Like this is a lot of people's livelihoods. So they do charge for their services. So there's a lot of tailoring in my practice of like, I think you should skip out on this and pay for that because I feel like this is a little bit more beneficial to your birth, to your story. So I would say financial situations is usually the biggest factor on why people don't want to reach out to other professionals or don't want to take up a service or go somewhere because they don't want to pay for it, which I completely understand because the whole deep dive on insurances and what they pay for and all that good stuff. Probably not the best podcast to talk about that, but
right. No, I mean it's all connected, right? So like in this modern world, right? Because we're talking about what does that look like to actually have people to support you in this modern world. I didn't even think about that. I'm having like a moment of like, oh snap. Like so finances, it does come in play for that, right? Because for somebody to have like a home birth midwife, you here in PA specifically, you have to pay.
Yep, out of pocket.
Right, you have to pay out of pocket. And can you tell us a little bit like a difference between like for those who don't know, like a home birth midwife and like what a midwife would look like in a hospital setting?
Well, a midwife in a hospital setting, they majority give birth or they attend births in the hospital. You'll see some CNMs, certified nurse midwife in a birth center atmosphere. You'll very rarely see them at home. Versus a home birth midwife, we do all home. You may see a CPM, a certified professional midwife, in the birthing center setting, but that's pretty much the biggest difference of like what setting you're practicing in.
And you guys do more. Do you guys do more visits? I think I just remember with the birth we did together. I was like, whoa,
you know, I wouldn't necessarily say we do more visits. Postpartum, definitely, we do more appointments postpartum with our clients than hospital settings. Usually it's you give birth in the hospital, you're there for a couple of days, and then you go back 6 weeks.
One time. That's crazy.
And that's pretty much your postpartum care.
Right.
But I would honestly say that there are midwives that will book those appointments to see you whenever you need them postpartum. So it might not be scheduled, but you can see them.
You can see them, right. And I think that's the part, right? Like we're talking about that whole village, and it tends to be like, the baby's here. Now what? Who are the people? Who are the people that are actually going to support you and, and be with you?
Right.
And I was very impressed that like with our, client that was supported together was like still had access to you after after 6 weeks, after 2 months. It was like,
after a year.
We're still talking to Titi.
I think that baby is a year now.
The baby is a year now. I was like, you're still talking. That's actually amazing. That's amazing. How has the shift away from community birth, right? Because when you think about like home births, like this was not like really like a specialty, right? Like back then it was something that like was more normal. But like how has that shift from like community birth traditions changed the way like families deal with that or how families cope?
I mean, it's the village aspect of it, right? Like what you were mentioning earlier. A lot of people are doing this by themselves. A lot of people are in their homes with just their partner, maybe a doula, and that's pretty much for many factors. Like I talk to people all the time and it's like, oh, I just don't like people. So I just don't want anybody at my house, which makes sense. It makes sense. But like you were saying earlier, it's really important to have that village, to have people to lean on. Not necessarily holding the baby, but just like, I was talking to someone yesterday and was like, oh, this is hard. Just to have somebody there to say like, yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
It's very beneficial. Just having that person to like kind of, I don't want to say co-sign because everybody's experiences are different, but you're not crazy. Like your baby's not crazy. This experience is crazy and it's not your fault.
Correct. Somebody yesterday told me, they're like, yo, people do this like again and again, like they have more kids. I was like, yes, this is true. No, but that makes that makes sense. Like they, there's no other people like, that are really coming around. And this is, kind of like a last question. And then if you guys have any questions for TT, you can ask as well. But like, what's one thing like in the medical system what's one thing that like the medical system cannot provide?
I mean, yeah. Like I said, there's great midwives out there in the hospital. So I can't necessarily say like without effort and without practice and they could do anything. Obviously, everybody could do anything. But I think it's a little bit, hospital settings or midwives in the hospital is a little bit different from a home birth midwife that's an entrepreneur, right? Like I said, I'm not from this city, so me coming here to be a student, it was a lot of groundwork. It was a lot of who's out there, who I need to talk to, who are the doulas, who's attending these births, right? Like making those connections, which in the hospital they don't necessarily have to do because
make connections.
They have the people that come. People are going to come sign up for care, and that's all they have to do. And that's
right.
That works too.
Right. The medical system doesn't have like this relationship with the community where, because you came in, you're like, oh, let me go meet. Where are things happening? Are we going to media on a Wednesday night, right?
Exactly.
Because that's how you get connected to what's going on here. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh wow. What I mean, you doing this work and, with the role that you play, what's one thing or two that you end up like telling your families to do in terms of like reaching out for support? Is there something that you normally like give advice on or like recommend?
Hire a doula. That's my first advice. Hire a doula. Yeah. Especially for my first time moms, that's always going to be my biggest recommendation is to hire a doula. And anyone, I always tell people anybody could be a doula, but you want to hire someone or have somebody a part of your team that is doing this specific job. That's probably one of the things. Second one is eat well, take care of your body, your mind, soul, all those things, because it's all encompassing. So
it's all connected. It's all connected. Thank you. This is perfect because we're now gonna have like Kia as the doula to tell us what a doula is. But we're gonna have at the end kind of like time to talk more and ask more questions like to TT. But was there anything that was coming up for anybody who wanted to like ask a question to TT?
So my question is, are there, because it's not an insurance thing, right? And I never really thought about that part.
And, some midwives do accept insurances, but it looks a little bit different. Like your full care is not going to be covered under insurance, but they do prorated amounts, like if you use your insurance with them.
So meaning that the midwife, you never go to the hospital.
I do if I have to go to
the patient, me. So if I'm having a baby and I have the midwife, my home, right? That's what we're saying. Then I don't go to the hospital.
Not necessarily. I give people the option of what they want to do with that type of care. So some people I do recommend they stay in the hospital system and go to all of their appointments and see me at the same time. Okay. Some clients, they've never seen an OB before in their life. Some people go for like congruent care. So they'll go for like milestone appointments with them and then they'll come to me for other appointments.
So why didn't I know this?
I'm not sure.
So that's what I'm saying. So what is happening, right? Are there any things happening? And I guess that's what I preface it with the insurance piece of it. So like Temple now has a new, somebody closed, and I know now they are down off of
the Women's Center.
There we go. See? So are they offering like a satellite office, not a satellite office, but like a place, like this is the community place where people can know that these things are available? Because I never knew that I never, I guess I did think about a home birth, but
Get
it
connected
was
with
because
someone.
I saw it on a birthing story. It wasn't because I knew it. It wasn't a poster in the doctor's office.
Yep.
There wasn't YouTube back then.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, so what is there anything in place or any movement, I guess, to say, because you said you're in
Dear professional midwife.
Here we go, in media. So outside,
In Bala Kenwood.
in Bala Kenwood. So
Pretty much.
So that's what I'm saying. So what is happening? What is it so that like people will know this, just to see it and make it so that people don't have to go search for this information? Like, are there any things in place? Are there any partnerships coming up? Is there anything that somebody is pushing to say these are alternatives that you have to moms that just want to
explore the
have
options,
a baby,
yeah.
right? Not at the hospital. That's really what
Not really. Unless like the community efforts where like the event that we went to yesterday and people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get clients from the hospital because their midwife mentioned it, but it's usually because the client is like, I want to explore my options. I want to know what else is out there. And they'll say like, okay, yeah, check out this midwife. Consider if you want to have a home birth. But there's nothing like a pipeline to like, here are your options when you get pregnant and you decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
Besides your doula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing is that, like, you know, for us who are in the birth world, we know there's options, but like I would say, like people don't know. Like how you said, you're like, I didn't know.
And an insurance company is not going to tell you, like, yeah, go have a home birth. Like, even though like cost wise is actually less money out of their pocket.
It's cheaper, to have a home birth.
But
yeah.
and that's another conversation.
Yes. Well, we might have to continue this conversation. Titi, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I just want to just share like how amazing a home birth is, because me personally, like I'm a medical assistant, so I work with midwives all the time. I'm a doula, and I've done many births with midwives in the hospital. But I had a chance to have an experience to do a home birth, and it was just so different, but it was so like comforting, and like how you can just have your baby and go back to your bed. And Miss TT, we went down and we made tea for our mom. It just was such a different and beautiful experience. And I feel like if you are not strong enough, but if you can set your mind to know like no medication, and you know your body can do this, and you have like a great support system, and you have the doula, you have your midwife and your family, I feel like everybody should have the opportunity to have a home birth. Yes.
I appreciate that. I know. We love Hope Weir. Thank you, Nia. Nia's our amazing doula. Hi, Kia.
Hi.
Welcome. No, listen, we're like, TT took us into like doula conversation, it was like perfect.
It was.
So tell us about you.
Okay, so yes, I'm a doula. I'm also a childbirth educator as well. That's how I
That's
know
how we
Mary
met.
Nisi.
Yes.
We work together.
Yes.
I'm also a mom myself. I've experienced having. Oh, sorry.
Okay, you good.
I'm also a mom of 3. I'm in the trenches of motherhood. All of my children I have 3 under 5.
You got this.
Thank you. So yeah, that's the gist of it for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, I have questions for you. I had to write them down because I was like, this is the way I remember.
That's okay.
Where do you see families struggling the most when it comes to like lack of support as a doula?
Yeah. I think my take on this might be like a hot take, which might be good for a podcast.
We can't edit, but
okay. But I think that one of the issues is, and I guess TT kind of touched on this a little bit, but there's this whole movement of like boundaries around family that I don't really like hearing. Ooh. Because personally, like I have a handful of people in my life, women specifically, that have free range to come and take care of me and my children, to help me. So I think that is one of the biggest issues I see, is that I hear a lot of like, oh, well, I'm not letting my mom or my mom-in-law or anyone see my baby for the first 3 months. And I'm like... Well, don't be mad when they don't want to babysit at 6 months when you're like exhausted, worn out, possibly going through some type of postpartum mood disorder, because it's just you and your partner. And that we're talking about a village, right? And that is a big part of it, is that we don't really have a village mindset anymore. And this, I can talk about this all day, because then it goes into like economical structures and things, and socially how things are set up now for mothers in general. So I get it. I get why we go there. But I think that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to support, is that we put up boundaries with people who are supposed to hold the mother so that you can hold your baby and have that time to rest and to connect and bond and nurse your baby and get fed and all of that. That's going to come from your mother, your sister, your cousins, your closest friends. So I think this whole like, only certain people can come to see me during this precious time, which it is.
Right.
But it comes with a lot, and all of the pressure should not just be on the mother and the partner. So that's where I see the biggest issue is this whole boundary thing. We need to let that go.
Right? Because it's this conversation of like, you know, we're going to have to like do like part 2, because we're going to have a therapist, you know, to be part of this conversation. But there's this thing, right, of like, you know, we see that. You're right. I've seen that, you know, with folks. And depending on what people's story is, you know, their journey is, there's people who are like, you know, family of origin has, there's trauma in that. There's like different things that have happened. And what is that line, and what does that look like for people? You know, is there something that you need to work through ahead of time? You know, I've heard of people who go to like therapy with their parents, you know, parents who are willing to do, right? Like, is there way to figure this out? And then people have moved. That's the other thing too. People are.
I was going to say, I probably should have mentioned too that I understand in some cases that's not always an option.
For sure.
I mean, specifically when that is an option and we are going against that route of support. And I think too, you can hire help too. That's great. But I think it's something beautiful in knowing that, like, even if it's one person, even if it's like your closest friend, whoever it is, having that one person that you really, that can just care for you. And it's not, having I'm a professional doula. So yes, I get paid for, you know, but I'm always so happy when I am attending a birth and I see someone else there to help care, that doesn't have to ask any questions, that just knows your favorite food, that knows like exactly how to comfort you physically, that a hired person might not know how to. And it just comes off differently when it's someone you care for. But I know that it's not always an option, and I know that things are like different now. People move, and so I get that. But it's different in a modern society like ours.
I think that we need some people to start pushing back a little bit about, like, you know, I think we're in the generation of like awareness, right? We talk about trauma all the time. Jan rolls her eyes about this all the time. It's like, if I hear this word trauma one more time, but it's become like, this is the language that we just use, right? Like, oh, this, you know, we diagnose everybody, you know, this person is a narcissist, this person is this, right? We have all of this language, and we're not even like in this field. Like, we're not even therapists. We didn't even go to school for this, but we have all of this stuff that we talk about. And I think it's become so normal. And I appreciate you like naming that. Like, hold up, cut. You do need other people, and that can be your mom, that can be your, you know, your sister. I think in a world like, you know, coming from Malawi, like, I definitely know the difference between like individualism and like living in a community. And I get the privilege of kind of like seeing the pros and cons, right? But it's this thing of like, you know, growing up back home, it was like, this is the people, right? Like, you do not like how this person said that. These are your people, honey. These are the people that come to you when you know, these are the people that like are part of your life. Like, pretty much like whether you like it or not, right?
Right.
And here we go, we can actually choose. And I do think there are healthy ways when, you know, people do need to like step away, but we need to, I love the pushing a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. And so how do doulas, like, you know, how do you help kind of like rebuild, or do doulas help rebuild the sense of like modern village? Maybe that's the question, not how, but do actually doulas do that?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, like, doulas do kind of go back to like a more traditional way of birthing and parenting, because traditionally there were more traditional villages, or however we're looking at it, there were more women surrounding the mother when she was giving birth. Right. So I think that is like a big part of it is that having a doula does mean that like you'll have a woman that like we naturally nurture.
Yeah.
And so that's one of it. But wait, can you tell me what the question is again?
It was like, how do doulas, let me go back to my, rebuild, like that sense of community, that sense of like village.
When I think about that, I think about the childbirth education aspect of it a little bit, because we have that understanding of like exactly what's happening. And so understanding what is happening to a woman in her body when it comes to birth, and giving that aspect of it, I think that kind of helps in general with like planning when it comes to birth. So having like a birth vision or a birth plan, however you want to put it. And I encourage my clients to have a birth vision, a postpartum birth vision too. Yeah. When you start talking about that, it really is helpful. So let's say you're like, in your head, the mother, right? Say the mother is like, I know that I'm probably going to need about 2 weeks to just stay home or maybe stay in my bed, whatever your wishes are. If it's not spoken about, then if your partner doesn't know that or understand why that's needed, then you might end up having a rough postpartum period because your expectations or your vision for postpartum is not being met. Right. So I always encourage that. Of course, as a doula, you do prenatal appointments. And when I go to my appointments, I talk about postpartum care and what that's going to look like. And it usually sets the tone for what that experience will be for their whole family too.
Their whole family. Yeah. No, I know. When I became a doula, like it was like everybody had a birth plan. I was like, is there a postpartum plan? Because like, that's the biggest part. That's
I know.
The time that like people need to plan. Who are the people that are going to be around you?
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to plan it right. It cannot just be you and your partner, because you're both going to be like no sleep.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of times it is, and TT kind of mentioned that too. Like a lot of times it is now. And that's where I think we're having this spike in like postpartum mood disorders and depression and things, because you're trying to balance your hormones and run a household. Right. That's not sustainable. Yeah. And so that's how it ends up being. So I think that support is a really big deal. Maybe I'm a little biased. I live in a multi-generation house where my mother lives with me. And so I have so much help, and it benefits everyone. It's actually good for grandparents to be around their children. Apparently they live longer. So I see the benefits for everyone. And it's just really, really helpful. And so I think that even just having those conversations with clients is how I contribute to having conversations around what support will look like, even if it means hiring like a postpartum doula.
Right. Because now you have people who do like overnights. I'm like, I don't do overnights.
I do not. I barely like doing overnight at my house with my children. So I don't do that, but I have resources and I can guide you. Exactly. And I can guide you in that direction. So, yeah.
I love it. I feel like you answered my third question, because it was literally like, what do you think people like need? And you're like, you actually do need the support. You need to reach out to like your family, your community, because you're not supposed to do it alone. Yeah. And I think birthing season, like that whole journey literally like tells us that we were not meant to do this alone.
Yeah. And then there's like different things you can look up. You can look into different traditional ways of postpartum care. So there's the book, The First 40 Days, that talks about, I can't remember what exactly her ethnicity was, but then there's like the Nigerian postpartum tradition. It's called Awigwo, I believe. I hope I'm saying that. Amugwo. And where like someone comes to care for the mother for anywhere from like a month to 6 months, taking care of them, feeding them. And so you can look into other ways and then incorporate that into your care in some kind of way. So there's ways to prioritize that during birth, after, just having an understanding of what you want your experience to be, whether during pregnancy, through labor, and into postpartum. Yeah.
Thank you, Kia.
You're welcome.
So if you remember Maura, this is Jordan, her hubby. You guys are gonna.
Hello.
Oh, you got your own mic?
Yeah, he does, and it's much better.
Oh, look at you. Yeah. Okay, look at y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that I've actually like done this with them.
As usual, you haven't given us the questions. So.
I have not given you guys the questions because I changed it all up. Okay, so if you have not yet, please catch up on all of these episodes because Maura has her own episode. She is the first interviewer on Positive Birth Corner podcast. And then Jordan comes in and shares kind of like his side of the story. So definitely go check this because it's also like really hilarious, like their story. So they have 2 kiddos. Okay, I'm gonna have you guys obviously introduce yourselves.
Yes.
But also just tell us, like I wanted to do more of like in a story form, right? Like you guys just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Your first one is, how old is he?
She
Four.
is 4.
Yep.
Your first one is 4. So
Yep.
tell us about that journey, like as we're talking about this with like TT and Kia, about the village, what that like looked like for you all, kind of like almost like a comparison between the two.
Okay. Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So with Nia. Sorry. Hi. Maura, aka Faith, and wife, mother, event planner, apparently.
Ooh. Let's go.
Put it out there. Many things. But yes. So with and Jordan, introduce yourself.
Oh yeah. I'm Jordan. As has been said, I'm the husband and the dad of the 2 kids. And hey, man, I don't know. I guess a little bit about me. I've worked in the healthcare space for a little while now, in various roles and administratively and insurance as well. So.
Yeah, when you guys were saying insurance, I was like, Jordan.
So
where are
TT,
you?
he knows what you were talking about.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I mean, insurance is horrible, but anyway, go
Yes,
ahead.
I mean, at least I think we all know that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So our birth with Nia and like just how like the village aspect of it because
and this is your firstborn.
It's my firstborn. I had my village has kind of changed. So with my first, it was more family. So it was just family because she's a COVID baby. And we met in 2019, got pregnant in 2020, got Nia in 2021. So very COVID baby. And I had just moved from Nashville to Philly. So I didn't have friends per se in Philly. I had my sisters, my mom, my sister's friends, so not my friends. And then we got the baby. And then Jordan's friends are all like out all over the place. Yeah. And so we didn't really have friends in Philadelphia. Gotcha. We had friends more like outside of the state. Okay. And so what that looked like was we were really leaning into family a lot, and they were really very supportive and there all the time. My mom stayed with me for like, was it 2 months?
A long time, yeah.
Yo, that's hilarious. I don't know why that's hilarious. Jordan remembers. I remember your mom. She made me food, I think.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's just continue. We have a whole thing about food, which we cannot talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, my mom stayed with us for like two months. We didn't enter the kitchen like for the first 2 months of Nia's life. It was great. Fresh food. I don't like frozen food. Like, this is my, like, even to this birth, I told all my friends, please do not give me frozen food because it'll be really cute. I'll be like, thank you. This is really nice. And then I'll put it in the freezer and then I'm not going to remember it. And then I'm going to be like, whoops.
Throw it in the trash.
Yeah, because it's going to be bad. Like, we don't food prep. Like, we're like day of food people.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why this is?
The food just, I don't know. Like,
Okay.
just like the quality, I don't know. The food just tastes
And
better.
you both feel this way?
Not as much as Faith. Faith feels like, the flavor of the food is gone
It
after you freeze it for a while.
changes.
Which, like, sometimes I understand, but almost anytime she asked me to put food in the freezer, I'm like, goodbye.
Yeah, we put some oxtail
Yeah.
to prepare for Corey, and then we never ate it.
Never ate it.
I was really mad about that, but
Gotcha. we also can't talk about the oxtail.
yeah, let's move on from the food stuff. Let's talk about.
So anyway,
let's talk
so
about,
my mom was here. So that postpartum looked different because it was very family oriented. It was very like the family was there. My mom was there. My mom was coming. Like my mom and Jordan's mom would kind of alternate, like 3 days, 2 days, weekend. Like they would come. So we had coverage like for like 6 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my parents are also like 45 minutes outside of Philly, so
wow,
also
okay.
really close. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add for Nia's?
I mean, that was pretty much it. It was
Yeah.
COVID, so we were really being very protective about who we allowed in our space, and
Right.
at that time it was a lot of like testing and quarantining and stuff like that too. So
that was a rough time to like birth.
yeah. I mean, I missed a lot of like the pre-birth
Yeah,
like
the-
appointments and stuff. Like I couldn't go to them because I wasn't allowed in the hospital. Yeah,
Right,
so
right. That makes sense.
really strange time. Yeah.
Yeah. But birth was great. And I mean, then I started like, because my plan was never to stay in Philly, so I didn't really feel the need to build community. Because I was always like, I'm gonna leave. I've been leaving.
You've been trying to leave for a while.
Yeah, I was
okay.
out. But then now we kind of settled in, and then our village started changing. We started like going to like Rutabaga, the toy library. We started like meeting, like intentionally seeking people, going out, like going for hikes. Like we started like meeting people and being friendly and trying to have like kid stuff, play dates and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then so we started building out that community. So then when Corey came, the village completely flipped. It was more of the village that we had built for ourselves than family.
Gotcha.
And that was really beautiful because then those people should, like what you're saying about boundaries, totally get it. But then now building our own village with our people, we were able to still keep the boundaries up for the people that really we needed to put those boundaries up for, but still have people show up for us.
Still had others people show up.
And truthfully, I don't know if we would have been able to have a second child if we didn't have that community. Just because obviously you need somebody to kind of look after the first one while you're taking care of the second one, right? So really thankful that we had people that Nia was comfortable with. And all of them also have, for the most part, have kids themselves. And so Nia could always she's welcome to several different homes, and people really look after her. So really thankful for that. And like I said, we wouldn't be able to do it without that community to take care of her and us as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's huge because I don't know if you guys realize that, like how unique that is. Like, unfortunately, like you guys' story is like unique, right? Because you're hearing there's so many people who are like, where do you even find these people at? Like,
Yeah.
And specifically, like I'm thinking of you, Jordan, like as dads. Like, could you share like a little bit like about that? Like, where did you find people at? Like, is this, like?
I mean, a lot of times, honestly, speaking as a dad, I feel like it's people I run into on the playground.
Okay.
I'm not big on like Facebook groups or anything like that, honestly. So it's people that I know who are also like, the spouses of like some of Faye's friends, and also people I run into like while I'm out with Nia. And like I said, Nia, she's at the dance studio. She does dance, and so there's a daddy-daughter dance. Shout out to Vince over here. And so I've made some connections doing that with her. And so this will be her third year doing it, and so I have practice soon coming up. But
Would your dads practice together? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've seen
they
pictures.
do.
Yeah,
They
we all
practice
have to
together.
practice.
They have a cute little group text going on.
Not cute. I mean, she didn't.
oh, it's cute.
So cute.
I don't know if it's
Chat.
cute.
She say that.
I don't know if it's cute.
They have a way to communicate.
We text. It's
It's a text.
Cute
Not
little chat.
a chat, man.
Okay, so through like having a child, it was like has helped you find other people who are in that same season.
Yeah, because I'm not really even, like, I'm more introverted. I like to stay in the house, you know? So for me, like, it's challenging for me to kind of reach out and build that community and reach out to other people and stuff like that. But, like, I think if you're going to have, a happy kid and be also a happy parent, you need to kind of branch out and be able to do that. So,
Intentionality.
Yeah.
Intentionality. Okay. Oh wow. Wait, I have like one more question for for you guys. Like you as you hear like your story, I know you just talked about this, Jordan, saying like, you know, if you're gonna have a happy child, like you also kind of like have to put yourself out there. Like, is there anything else on top of that you would like recommend or suggest that families do or start? And when do you start that? Do you start like when you have a kid because it's easier? I think I remember that, like people talking to me more when I had a kid. I was like, oh, is this what happens?
It's like when you have a dog, people stop you more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you make, like I always say, if you want to make a friend in a new city, get a puppy.
Yeah.
Get a puppy, walk a puppy. You don't even have to get your own puppy. Go to a shelter and walk the puppies there. And everyone,
to come to your
no,
house.
for real. I've made friends just by walking my friends' dogs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So have a puppy, because having a baby is a bit of a stretch.
It's a lot of commitment for a very long time. So if you're not ready for that.
Yeah, but I think just like having you like I've said this maybe 50 times already, just really being intentional on like what you're doing on your space. And yeah, because that's honestly my village. Like Jordan said, we would not have been able to have Corey if it was not for the confidence we had in our village and in how we were building that life and that family and our community. And also, we would not have had the birth experience we had if we did not have our village. Because I say, if it wasn't this economy, and if my pregnancies were not horrible, I would have another baby just so that I could have the same team. You know what I mean?
Did you see Jordan now? Jordan's like,
just for the sake,
do it again.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, that was such. Titi was there. You know,
This is true. Titi was there. I did not put that together. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
she came. I called late, so she missed the
She
birth,
missed
but
it, it happened really
she was
quickly.
there. But like, if I could like do it, I was thinking about it the other day. If I could put me a backup, I would do another home. I would have home births. I would never have gone to the hospital.
This is true. So Laura did have a home birth for her second baby. I don't know why I did not put that together in my brain. But
And Titi was one of the midwives there.
yes. Yes. No, I love that. I think this is it, right? Like we need to hear of kind of like these stories that like it is possible, right? Like you said, like you're not originally, you were in Nashville. I don't know why you were in Nashville, but you were in Nashville. You were in Nashville, like you birthed in COVID, right? I think you had all of these opportunities of like to be like, all of these things are not going to work out. No, I'm not going to be able to have the village, but you guys like intentionally like really worked on that, and now you have a whole crew.
Yeah. And super thankful for it. I mean, like, for me, like, my parents, I feel like they're better with, like, the kids when they get older, right? And so it's about being intentional with, like, who's going to help us in this stage, right? Because it is very different. I mean, whenever my dad holds Corey, I'm kind of like, like, I feel like I had to spot him. So it is, it's just, that's how it is. It's like, you have to have people around for specific seasons even, and some people are in it for the long haul too, and that's okay. It's just, it's about being intentional about the community you're building, so.
Thank you guys. Give it up for Laura and Jordan. No, you're right. You know what it is, Jen? Like, someone like me who is in this world, it's so easy to just kind of like assume that everybody does understand like what the roles are, what that work looks like. So I do appreciate the question. All right.
Okay, so I'll speak for what a doula is. Well, midwives are medically trained, and doulas are not. That's like the main difference. It's like, to give like context, an example, right? A midwife can do like a cervical check. A doula cannot do that. Where a doula is more so like physical, spiritual, emotional support. I look at myself almost like the clients that I have, I kind of look at myself as like their sister showing up for them, where I'm caring for them in ways where I'm like pulling your hair back, I'm giving you a hip squeeze, or a ton of hip squeezes. I feel like I spend my whole birth is just hip squeezes. So that's like what a doula does. And then there's different kinds of midwives. There's nurse midwives, and then there's certified professional midwives. And certified professional midwives do home births, and then there's nurse midwives who are in hospitals, and they're more hospital trained. TT could probably explain this a little better. But just specifically, that's the difference between a doula and a midwife. And I think people do like mix that up sometimes. So that's a good question. I feel like doulas, we're trained too. And there's a certain etiquette that needs to come with our profession. Yeah. And we work, usually from my experience and from my other friends who are doulas experience, we work really well with midwives and OBGYNs, because there's a certain way that we have to have a certain level of like respect for everyone in the room and understand what our roles are. And as being a doula has become more common and more popular now, and because of that, I think that OBGYNs and midwives are more accepting of people coming to give birth and having doulas. And so there's usually no issue because I know my role. My role is not to be the doctor at all. Right. And so you have to know what your role is when you walk into a room. When someone's birthing, I fly under the radar. Like, this is not about me. This is all about the person that's giving birth. So you're supposed to, and you want to keep things. And there is a time when like you may need to speak up, but for example, right? There have been times where midwives or the doctor might say something and I'm like, I don't like how that sounded. You are not supposed to feel like you have to do anything when you're giving birth. And when that happens and things are feeling a little shady, I might say something like, let's say the person who's giving birth, her name is Sarah. Sarah, do you maybe want to take some time for us to talk about that without the doctors around so we can, and then she'll say, okay, yeah, like, let's do that. That's my way of not looking at the doctor and saying, I don't like how you're approaching her right now. You know, like you have to have a certain decorum and etiquette when you are in a space where someone is giving birth. Yeah. Unless someone's being like harmed immediately and you got to step in, but otherwise you have to know your role. Yeah.
Yeah. And the family is like, we encourage the family to let their provider know, like, hey, I have a doula. Write it in the birth plan. If we're able, like, if a doula is able to go to a prenatal appointment, you know what I mean, to like really build that team. Because again, it's about the birthing person. It's not about it's not about the doula. It's not about the provider. It's about the person who's birthing. And
you quickly get to know people in hospitals and birthing centers too. I've been a doula for almost 6 years. I haven't, but I've had children, so I haven't doula that much, and I still feel like I know midwives and doctors at Jefferson, at Bryn Mawr, at Penn, and all of the midwives at the birth center. So yeah, it should be a team effort, and we should be prioritizing the person giving birth. And if you're doing that, then you won't have no problems.
My question's about, I guess, hospital births versus home births, and kind of the state of like the economy and the rising cost of healthcare. Do you feel like you've seen an increase in people seeking out like home births versus wanting to give birth in the hospital? What's the difference between, I guess, the estimated cost between the two? Is there really like a huge gap, and is there, I guess, people seeking out more at-home services?
That's a loaded question.
TT, come take it. Come on, home birth midwife.
We can switch out, TT. Okay.
I'm cozy up next to you too.
Yes, come on in.
What is that?
What is the cost difference? I think one of the reasons why people are seeking home births or out of hospital births now, one of them is social media. A lot of people are showcasing their births online and saying wonderful things about their home birth experiences, which is influencing other people to seek that as well too. I would say there is a cost difference when you look at the bottom line of things. Home birth practices, we're giving you the bill up front. This is what it costs to be at home. This is what it's gonna look like. And the hospital is usually after you give birth to baby. And depending on how your style is, like some people, they get the bill and it's like, yeah, I'll pay it. We'll figure it out. Put me on a payment plan. I'll be fine. Some people are like, no, let me look at this itemized list and see what they're charging me, right? Like you see things like holding your baby skin to skin. Like there's a price point for that on your bill at the end of care. And sometimes Tylenol, pain relief, and they tell you can't take your own pain relief, so it's not even like you have options. But and some people can see bills. I mean, it depends on your insurance. Some people see bills at the end of care, and it could be $2,000. Sometimes people see it, and it's $44,000, and they have to figure out how they're going to pay that after baby is born. So that's probably the biggest difference between like hospital births and home births, is that there's a bill up front. This is what you get for this service. This is how much it's going to cost, versus like after you have the baby, this is how much it did cost. Even though there's wiggle room, I always tell people, like, talk to the financial department and get on those payment plans and negotiate your bill, because you can. A lot of people don't know that.
That's right.
Before you leave that hospital, talk to somebody about that bill. And a lot of times they reduce it. They take money off. But yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. But most people have insurance, right? So most people, when they go to the hospital, there is no bill. They just, it gets all taken care of. They can charge you whatever they want because they know the insurance company is going to pay for it. So.
And are you seeing more people like having more home births, or?
I think yes. But you know, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a financial reason why more people are having home births, except for the small group of people that are uninsured or have the health insurances that aren't that good, robust. And they're they high copays and all these things that they have to kind of like go through before they could get their birth deducted.
Another thing too, I noticed there was more home births during COVID because people were avoiding hospitals. Also, when there more and more information about how Black and brown women are treated in hospitals too, and videos that we see of us getting treated poorly, and the numbers reflect that we get treated poorly. So that's also a big difference too. And the difference is, and then there was the birth center, and we're not going to talk about that. Sore topic. But then there was there are birthing centers. They're not as easy to sustain and keep open, unfortunately, but there's like hospitals, birthing centers, and then home births. And they all are like different. There's different styles and things that go into that, but home births are amazing, though.
You had a home birth too, right?
I had 2 birth center births, which were great, and then my youngest, who's acting crazy in the back, he was a home birth. He was a home birth, and that was the best experience I think that I've ever had in life. Like, it was the best experience. But most importantly, I think that you can have a great birth no matter where you give birth if you feel seen and heard and supported. Because there are there's moms that I've talked to who had cesareans and had great births because they felt seen and they felt like they had a say in their care and how they were being treated. So you don't have to have a home birth, and there's like a lot of aesthetic around home birth because of social media. There's like aesthetic that is like, oh, rose petals or whatever. No, home birth is crazy, and it's a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of no one talks about that with home birth. That like it's a lot of stuff going on in your room or in your house that got to be cleaned up.
And the one thing my husband had talked about is like, who's actually like, who cleans up?
Him, right? I know. My husband didn't know that he was going to be cleaning up after birth and blood after, but here we are. So online we can make it look so peaceful and beautiful and this aesthetic around it, but really it is a very raw experience. And birth can look so different in whatever setting you choose, but it can be beautiful no matter where you give birth. We just have to start having more conversations about why we are feeling so unsafe and uncomfortable in hospitals, if that is your story, and how we can start changing that.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I don't know how we're doing it. I thought we were gonna that was like a perfect kind of like clap time. I think that this does, right, with our timing. Yes, I think this does end our time together. But thank you guys so much. Thank you so
I love that we ended up here together.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
I love this.
thank
We need
you.
to have more conversations. conversations about this and hear about this. Kia, you gonna come back, talk about your home birth?
Oh, I would love to. Yes.
You're gonna come back and talk about it because we gotta hear about this. Like this, like really amazing births that are happening and what it's taking, right? Like how you said, someone feeling safe, right? Someone feeling supported, and and all of this, and how to do it like with a community. You don't have to do it you don't have to do it by yourself.
Right.
All right, thank you. Well, this is the
Thank
end.
you.
Thank you for being here. All right. This is. I know. Thank you.